that's how we start the stream, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, wow. I should really have paid attention to what my names were on these title cards, because I didn't have any of y'all's faces in the right places. Let's get...
I'm cool being Danny.
No, it was B and DJ that I had flipped.
Oh, okay. I'm cool being B.
Yeah, I mean, who wouldn't want to be B? Hello, everybody who's watching this stream. My name is Tracy. My pronouns are they, them, and I am the creator of Iron Edda Reforged, along with B. Zelda and Jeff Stormer and Alex Flanagan. B, who is here with us today, just right down there below me. Yeah. We are here on the One Shot Twitch channel to play a new season of Iron Edda Reforged, and this is called In the Bubble, which is after the neighborhood that we're going to be starting off in. So, to begin with, I have 3 other lovely people here on stream with me. Yeah, look around all you want, Danny. You're one of them. And we are going to go around and introduce ourselves real quick. I'm talking, so I'll just start. Like I said, I'm Tracy. I am the creator of this game. I do work for the One Shot Network. I do a lot of my own game design. I do podcasting. I do some graphic design. I am a new parent. There's far too much that I do, but that's okay, because it affords me opportunities to do things like this with these fantastic people, and I could not be happier. We're gonna go to the stage right, stage left of me. Anyway, it's DJ. Say hey.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Big B's here. I am variety streamer, game designer, pixel artist, TTRPG enthusiast, speedrunner. I do a lot of things. None of them really well, but I like to do a lot of different things. Oh man, my brain completely blanked out right there. Cool. So nice to see everybody. Hi.
What are your pronouns? Where
there we go. Thank you. Pronouns he, him. You can see me on my channel, Big B's, big_B's, where I do lots of variety streaming and scary games at night because people love to see me scream. I feel like Talladega Nights. I don't know what to do with my hands. You can also catch me Saturdays on RF Chaos, where we play the Unremarkables. It's a masks game, and it's just all sorts of just drama and chaos. And now, starting today, here every Tuesday. It's great. And that's about it. Yeah, that's all I can think of right now. Love your faces.
Sweet B, hit it.
Hello, I am B. My pronouns are they, them, and I am a podcaster as well. I was once a part of the One Shot Network with the Broadsword, so that was a great time. Now I do a butt ton of other things, primarily a TTRPG streamer. I have a schedule where I stream anywhere from 5 to 9 shows a week. So if you want to figure out what the heck that is, you should probably follow me on Twitter as @B_Zelda, as well as I do a little bit of light cosplay, and I'm the community manager for D&D Adventurers League. And most importantly, I'm just surprised that I'm awake. I haven't woken up earlier than noon in a long time. So, shout out to being awake and lots of coffee.
We appreciate that. I appreciate that personally more than I can say, because I recognize and respect effort when I see it.
Thank you.
And last, most certainly not least, Danny, tell the people who you are.
What's up, y'all? My name is Danny. My pronouns are he, him. You can find me all over the internet at Brutal Dan. I'm mostly on Twitter, TikTok, and Twitch, just being excited about life. You can also find me on Friends Who Roll Dice. We're playing in Urban Shadows 2nd edition actual play as well. And I'm also the community manager for Roll20. So, yeah, I'm super excited to be with this group of lovely people. And I am also awake and also chugging coffee. So
yeah,
yeah. I think coffee is a universality for all of us. I know that DJ dropped his kid off at school. My kid was up at 7:15. So yeah, it's coffee o'clock, my friends. All right, so this game is Iron Edda Reforged. And Iron Edda Reforged is a cyberpunk take on a Norse Ragnarok where the gods are hyper capital criminal monsters, and we are going to make a community that rises up to take down the gods, because Ragnarok is coming, and it's us. Yeah. You can find Iron Edda Reforged in its alpha state if you want to follow along mechanically with what we're doing. Of course, I didn't have my links directly in front of me, but in the chat here, you can head to my itch page and you can get yourself a copy of Iron Edda Reforged right there in the chat. It is the alpha, so the mechanics are not completely finalized. They are finalized. We've sort of wrapped them up through the playtesting, but they're not in the game yet. So if you buy the alpha, you'll get the beta release when it's out, and you will also get the final. So head on over there and get it for as cheap as you can get it right now, because the price is going to go up as the subsequent releases come through. It's kind of like the Minecraft model from way back in the day. So to start off with, we start off with all good. The same thing that all good games start off with is we're going to do safety tools. The things we're going to be using in this game are lines and veils, right? The ones you see in the sort of play space we have there are the ones that we established in the podcast version of this stream, of this game, that you can hear through the One Shot Network. And basically, I think this is a solid starting point. That's why I kept them around. I don't disagree with having any of them in here, obviously, because they're from a previous game I did. And I just wanted to give the four of us a chance to add to those if we needed to. So I'm going to read them out in case the video is not clear for anyone who's watching. But our lines: sexual assault, harm to animals, harm to children, institutional oppression, plagues and pandemics, homophobia and transphobia, real-world racism, and derogatory remarks to or about sex workers. These are things that we do not want to see in the game at all. And you may wonder why in a game about overthrowing a massive institutional thing, the institutional oppression is not a thing that we want to see. This dystopia in this game is so complete that the gods don't need to worry about petty nonsense like, they're not going to be derogatory toward your gender. You can have the gender of a warm Saturday morning if you want to, and they don't care because you're so far under their thumb that it is unimportant to them. Veils, these are things we will elide over, are eye or tongue violence, fingernails, isms and ears, and teeth injuries. So, yeah. We'll go in reverse order from how we went last time. Danny, is there anything that you would like to add?
Yeah, I'll add just a quick thing under the veils. I'll just add like anything about hanging, or nooses.
Okay. Cool. Sounds good. B, anything to add?
I'm covered on these.
Awesome. DJ?
Yeah, I'm good.
Good. So these are the lines and veils. They remain slide 1 of this slide deck that we're on. So if you ever, as players, need to refresh yourselves, you can hop back there and check them out and make sure that you are clear on what we're going to be doing here. The other safety tool that we're going to be using is Script Change by Bree Sheldon. This is a basic fast forward, rewind, pause system. It's a little bit more robust than the X card, right? So if you ever don't want to see detail on something, we just say fast forward. If something happens and you're like, yeah, let's not do that, then that's rewind, right? We can pause and take a moment for things. It's a little bit more in depth than that, but that's the basic. If you think of like controls on an old school VCR, like that's what we're talking about for how we're going to handle the content. I think that all three of us are familiar with handling games in that way, so I'm not going to spend a lot more time on it. But if you're in the viewing audience and you want to know more about Script Change, you can Google Script Change and Bree Sheldon. It's Bo Yeager. Got the name wrong. By Bo Yeager, and you will find all the information there. It is one of my favorite safety tools, so you should definitely go and check it out. Now, the game itself. The way that we start a session of Iron Edda Reforged is we start by creating the neighborhood that we are going to be playing in. And I am getting my PDF up here. The way we create the neighborhood is we roll to answer some questions. If you have the PDF in front of you, then you will find the questions for our neighborhood, the bubble, beginning on page 14. Oh, hey, what do you know? The questions aren't in the PDF, but they are in the draft that I've written. Hang on. We're very professional here, you see. This is what happens when you have multiple working versions of a game. So
We're just demonstrating no matter what, it's an easy game to understand, comprehend, and set up.
There you go. So for my 3 players here who need to see those questions that I have referenced, I just relinked the document in the chat there in our Discord, and we are going to be operating from page 15. While you are all navigating there, I'm going to read the description of the neighborhood, the bubble, for you and for the audience at home. Long ago, a giant fell into the brain pan. The brain pan is a large body of water in Jotunheim, the realm we're playing in. Not as large a giant as the skull boundary of the brain pan itself, but large enough. People fleeing the wrath of the gods found the fallen giant's skull to be an underwater haven, a space with a hollow bubble of air, large enough to build dwellings, to call home. Now the bubble is a thriving community, but one that always seems on the verge of collapse. The equipment needed to cycle clean air and keep the water at bay always seems to be failing. Moreover, the spirit of the fallen giant whose skull makes up the bubble is getting restless. Odd occurrences and intrusions from Vanaheim are common here. Yeah, so that is a quick rundown of the bubble. Let me zoom back real quick and tell you a little bit about Jotunheim. That is the realm that all of this is taking place in. And in this setting, the cyberpunk dystopia where the gods have control over everything, the computer networks are made up of the bones, the neurons, the synapses of dead giants. And so if you go down the path in this resistance you're all part of bonding yourself with the spirit of a dead giant, you have a lot of technological access. You have the ability to summon forth a construct made of like the stuff around you, all of the techno bits, to make essentially a mecha that you pound around in for a while and disrupt things quite a bit physically. Jotunheim is a vast realm. It's very bioorganic. The temperature hovers right around like 98 degrees most of the time, and it's humid pretty much constantly. And your neighborhood is a hidden one. Of the traditional 9 realms in Norse myth, Midgard, the realm of humanity, it's kind of like at the end of Thor Ragnarok. Midgard is not a specific place, it's the people. So Midgard is whatever pockets humanity has sort of carved out for themselves that are not part of sort of the corporate structure of things, right? These are places where you, as much as you can in this kind of place, rule yourselves. And then Vanaheim, that is referenced there, that is the realm of the Vanir, sort of the half of the Norse pantheon, right? There's the Aesir and the Vanir. And Vanaheim is the realm of magic. And much like Midgard, it's not one place. It is this sort of overlay across the rest of the realms. And where it is strong, magic comes through in a big way. So there are lots of little weird magical intrusions that happen in the bubble as well. And then the last thing, just in case it comes up, is I'm going to get you all, if I can find it real quick here. There we are, runes. There are, if you play a seer in this game, or if you want to do any magic at all, it's all runic. However, the traditional Norse runes are extremely fraught. They have been co-opted by white supremacists for a long damn time, and thus we don't use them here. I made an entirely new set of runes for this game, and the PDF to those is in the Discord chat. So they all have names and their symbols and sort of what their meanings are. So if you want to do some runic magic, which anyone can do, anyone can like try and craft magical things, but the seer is especially focused on that kind of stuff, then you will use those. So I know it's a lot of big info dump. Does anyone of the three of us here have any questions before we begin asking questions and building the neighborhood?
I had a question about character creation, but that's later.
Go ahead and ask it. We'll see.
Oh, I just wanted to know which, I guess, potential class has been explored the least, so we can get more light on that.
Sure. We'll cover that when we get to that bit, but that's a good thing for me to be thinking about. Because this game is not just focused on one group of characters, because we'll make different characters and perhaps embody them in a bunch of different ways. I think most of them have been played at least once. Because there was the side story that you were in, DJ, right? And then we had a bunch of different characters that we explored in the main podcast. So yeah, there may be one or two that haven't gotten quite as much screen time, but we'll check those out when we get to that point. The reason, for anyone watching, that we do neighborhood creation first is because context is super important to me when it comes to what to do with a character, right? And this whole system, the idea of being able to make multiple characters, and then when you're done with one scene, just go, yeah, let's do a scene with these people, right? And just jump to a different part of the narrative from a different perspective, the way you might see in a TV show or a movie. It doesn't work unless you have enough context to be able to play those characters with confidence. So to do all of that, to sort of scaffold this entire experience, we make a neighborhood, we make story hooks that you can really dive into and get your teeth into, so you'll know who your first characters are going to be. Once you've made those first characters, it is like the wheels are greased, right? You can just make whoever you want to make as we go. So B, you have done this before a number of times, so I'm going to start with you, if that's all right.
All right.
Okay, so let me get the right slide up here for everybody. So neighborhood creation notes. If you will be, go ahead and roll the d6, and this is going to give the top level category of your question.
Okay, just for ease of use, I'm going to roll an IRL d6.
Okay.
3.
A 3. So this is a question about the here and now. Go ahead and roll one more d6.
A 3 again.
A 3. A break in the wall. Keep in mind, this is a break in the skull of the giant that is like the dome that is your house, and there is nothing but water on the other side. Yeah, like the face of the giant is down in the mud, and the rest of the cranium is the dome that makes up the bubble that you all live in. And there is a break in that skull. How are you helping in the repair efforts, and how do you know that it happened because of sabotage?
Ooh, because it was broken from the inside out. It's pretty easy to tell when it was an inside job, literally. How am I helping with the repair efforts? How do you repair bone? How do human beings in real life fix a bone? You just hope it grows back?
Yeah, usually, so if you have a broken bone, right, then you set the two pieces together and you let the natural healing process, like the bone marrow, come from the inside out and make new bone cells, and I'm not a doctor. But keep in mind that this is an advanced technological setting and also an advanced magical setting. So there may be runes that are being placed on it to like hold it together until the giant spirit can graft it back together. There may be actual bone grafts, like you may have like gone down and shaved part of the other skull off and like peeled it on. Like there's Plenty of possibilities.
That's the one. It's a bone graft, but
Okay.
it's done with runes. It's because I'm really imagining like somebody shaved a piece of like bone off somewhere, so like it peels off like a piece of jerky almost, but bone, and then they have to like secure it to the crack. Like it's a pretty massive crack. Like this is structurally compromised now. So we have to do what we can, and it just looks like it's almost like, you know, like when you've been in a smoker's house and you move like a picture off the wall and you can be like, oh, that was the color. So like we've got this old like yellowish bone, and where we peeled it off it's still like this white bone, and we've placed it over top, but it's it'll hold up for now.
Okay. So whoever your first character is, whoever you're going to start off playing, you are part of these repair efforts with the actual bone grafting, and you specifically know that it was destroyed, it was damaged from the inside out.
Yeah.
Okay, great. DJ, you are going to go next. Go ahead and roll a single d6 for your category.
All right, I totally had this up and ready for rolling dice.
Yeah, of course you did. I believe in you.
All right, so set a d6, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's do it. That is gonna be a 1.
A 1. So ties to the past is your top level category. Go ahead and roll a d6
All right.
again.
Let's do it again.
The past is my favorite. It has the coolest questions.
3.
3. A new gang set up shop in the bubble last month. Who are they, and why do they threaten? And see, this is we're editing live right here. It should read, how do they threaten the bubble's safety? Because they're not threatening the safety of the entire massive body of water that y'all are submerged in. They're threatening the community.
I would say the name. Oh, let me think of a name real quick.
No pressure, but this has to be the coolest gang name ever. So I'm sure you got it.
Yeah, no pressure at all.
No pressure adds all the pressure.
No pressure. Just start sweating just profusely.
Jordan Peele. Dot
Yeah. Man, because I'm thinking of
Do
a
you
lot
want
of
like you want to
aquatic
call them like the
things.
cartilages or like the osseous?
The bone splints. Or not
Ooh.
splints.
Splinters? Is a
Yeah,
bone
splinters,
splinter a
there we
real
go.
thing? I don't know enough about bones to be completely honest.
Sure. Yeah, let's go with the splinters or bone splinters.
It is now the bone splinters.
Yeah. And
those
they are
splinters.
threatening the bubble safety because they are, let's see, what are they gonna do? I want to say now the actual bubble or just the community?
That is the thing about these questions, right? Is they are deliberately written so you can have multiple interpretations, right? So if you want to, like, you could dovetail this right into B's question and go, oh yeah, they're the assholes who totally are responsible for this break in the bubble, or on a community level, they are destabilizing things by blah 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 blah, right? You can.
Oh, you know what? I think I got it.
What's their motive?
To kind of piggyback off of B, I think that they're pushing weapons, and these weapons are a lot more volatile than anything that's been in the bubble before. So a lot of these new gang members that are coming in are just going kind of wild and firing off randomly and starting lots of riots and stuff. And that's what's causing damage not only to the community, but to the safety of the bubble as a whole.
All right, so it is.
So they're just like wacky gun-touting fools.
Yep.
Like, we need bigger guns and things.
Just put a whole bunch of Yosemite Sams in cyberpunk gear and have them run around.
Oh
That's
my
it.
god, I love it.
Okay, great. So now, Danny, go ahead and roll a d6 to get your top level category.
All right, I'm gonna roll IRL die. A 6.
A 6. Oh, good. We got them all. So this is the Mists of the Future.
Yay.
And then a 2.
A 2. There are rumors that an RPB raid team has the bubble in its sights. When is the raid scheduled to happen, and how can it be prevented? Now, for context, RPB is the Realms Police Bureau. That is run out of the Panopticon, which is the structure, the big, massive jail structure that is run by Tyr. This game that we are playing right now takes place in the timeline of the game that happened on the podcast. So if y'all want to catch up on all of that and hear how this game came to be, then you can listen to that through the One Shot Podcast Network. What that means for us today is that Tyr, the all-seeing, the head of the police, is gone.
Yeah, how's he looking? He ain't looking so good.
He's looking non-existent right now. The Panopticon has fallen, and I'm sorry, I just remembered that I had a whole intro video that I was going to show for this to kick us off, and I totally forgot to do it. We'll get there.
Hey, it's not too late. I'm excited.
We might do it when we come back from break. We'll get to it. Anyway, back on my train of thought. The point is that the Realms Police Bureau is not the monolith that it once was, right? There's still a lot of people with a lot of power who have riot gear, weapons, and training, right? But they are not being coordinated from on high any longer. So that's the context for this raid team. That may mean that there's any number of reasons why this might be happening, which is not what the question asks, but you can use it as background context for your answers.
Yeah, I think so. They're coming from outside the bubble in, right?
Yes.
So I'm thinking I'm gonna bounce off of Big B's splinters, the bone splinters. So there's kind of like, as a community, we know that there's gang activity going on, and we want to take care of that within the bubble. But on another level, we don't want the RPB infiltrating our bubble either.
Right.
So it's kind of like, we know that they're coming in for the Splinter gang, but we also don't want the RPB to come in. So there's kind of like,
Interesting.
they could be helpful, but we don't want that level of policing in our bubble. Exactly.
Yeah, because
But
that's the one thing. That's that one little thing they were waiting on to try and get to impose their influence more on
It was the
Exactly.
excuse that they needed. Like, finally, they have like unbiased jurisdiction to
Exactly.
do whatever
Cool.
it is they want.
So when is that raid scheduled to happen?
I think we know it's going to happen a week from now. So we have 7 days to try to, what can we do with the splinters and prove to them that, like, we don't need their interference at all. Stay away
like
from
that.
it.
So it can be prevented by getting rid of the bone splinters as a community?
Yeah, getting rid of, or just working with, I don't know.
We can make them less violent.
Appeasing,
like,
yeah, just like, what do they
gun
need
regulations,
from us?
maybe?
Yeah,
Stop
regulations.
shooting guns into the sky. It's bad.
And they're like,
Yes. Those are going to come down. That's how gravity
right,
works.
it's just like ricocheting off of your bone grafts.
Ping, 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 ping.
It's difficult because not a single one is above 4 feet, so they're just like, ah!
I love 'em.
All right. So, I put it's coming in a week, and the raid can be prevented by taking away the target, right? The bone splinters. And there are multiple sort of meanings as to what taking away the target could mean. Cool. So that is the setting, the context within which we're going to operate for all of this. And the overarching sort of plot of this game and how this all works is, one, it's predicated on the idea that Ragnarok is inevitable, right? The gods are going to fall. One of them already has. So we know, as participants and players in this story, that by the end of our 7-session arc, this being the first of them, another god is going down. It is inevitable. And the god that you all chose prior to us playing is Mimir. For anyone who is listening along at home, I'm going to give a rundown of Mimir. So Mimir is the vault. Knowledge and information are his things. Mimir's stronghold is the archive, a massive labyrinthine library and storehouse of information. Every bit of surveillance data that is fed into the eyes of the RPB also passes through Mimir's archive. There it is stored, held, and given out only when Mimir wishes it. Venturing to the archive for information is a perilous decision. Mimir will give knowledge, but the exchange is never an equal one. This is made evident by the shape of the archive itself, a massive skull-shaped building with a yawning mouth-like entrance that seems to pull onlookers towards it. And, of course, we're not going to just let you all imagine that. We are going to show everybody what the archive looks like.
Yes.
Yeah. So, Art assets, season 1, and I've got to resize it obviously because it's taking up a lot of space on the video right now, but there, right in the middle of the video there, that is what the archive looks like. And that is the space within which Mimir resides. And y'all are going to be going there to, take down a god. Inside the archive are the databanks. If giant bodies are the network of Jotunheim, their brains are the storage. Mimir's own nature is reflected here. Massive alcoves stretch row upon row, each holding the severed head of a giant. The halls echo with their words, each speaking what is being input into them. The cacophony is almost impossible to decipher, an unending stream of booming voices speaking the details to the 9 realms in excruciating detail. The attendants to the databanks are worse. You see, mortals crave knowledge as much as the gods, perhaps more. The price for extracting knowledge from Mimir's archive is to have the whole of your existence mined, sorted, and cataloged while you tend to the giant heads. Across the databanks they skitter and climb, their 9-legged forms, each leg with 9 joints, a cruel echo of the Norns of old. They know what they wish to know, and the whole of who they are is drawn until they are husks, their bones added to Mimir's throne. Mimir himself resembles a massive calcified brain affixed to a platform of multi-jointed legs that allows him to access the archives as he wishes. Even to look at his form is to lose some of yourself. He extracts one of the things you hold deep inside and swore never to tell anyone, ever. What new learning and understanding could come from Mimir's fall? So, that's your target.
Mimir sounds gross.
All of the gods are really gross. They it's something when I was designing this, and I did a Twitter thread where I explored who Thor was.
Okay.
And it really took a turn as I was writing it into this kind of dark and desperate place, and I realized that that's where all of the gods are at this point in time. Like, they are post-capitalist. They have indulged in their particular thing, their mode of oppression so much that they are completely twisted by their obsessions and how they think the world is supposed to be for them. So yeah, with all of that as context, it's time for us to make some characters. Yeah. So in the document, and just to make sure that we have all the content in front of us, I'm talking the Google Doc that I linked to y'all. Let me bring up the slide here for characters. So that's slide 3 is where we will be putting all of this information. I realize on the video that it's a little bit cramped for everything showing up, so I'll be doing some some presentation adjustments as we're talking about all this. But all characters, and this is not just characters that you play, but any character in the game has the same things, right? You've got a name. In your case, for members of the Resistance, you have a warrior clan, and the warrior clans are kind of like classes. That's where you get your special powers and abilities, and those begin on page 28 of the document.
Thank you.
And the sort of heart of what makes this game what it is details. If you've played a game like Fate before, then you're going to understand details pretty clearly, right? They're like aspects. It's a short descriptive phrase that makes things true. But in Iron Edda Reforged, it's also how you roll dice. So any action that is risky, that has a chance of failure, where failure could be an interesting part of the story, you are going to bring your dice into play, but you can only roll with one of your details. Right, so if your excellent detail that gets you 10 dice is I always carry my grandmother's axe, right? Then you can use that to do things what an axe does and get to chopping. You could also use it for intimidation. You could use it to show the strength of your familial associations, like if that matters in context. So you always take your details and find a way to fit them into the situation at hand. On the surface, it may sound a little bit like, well, that seems pretty limiting. I think both B and DJ can speak to the fact that it really makes you dive into who this character is in a given moment, and you end up playing their truth, which is a lot of fun. You also have 3 pieces of gear that you can assign. Gear is any reasonable thing that you can think your character would have given the context of the setting. If you take an action and gear helps you, you get a bonus die. If it would hinder you, you take a die away. You can put your chosen pronouns. In the previous actual play, we used every character just used every pronoun that they wanted to, and we just flopped them as we were going. You are not bound to that, but it's a cool way to do things. And with the warrior clan, you also are given a list of genders. So who is in box 1 there? Who's got Fixer of the Raven Clan written down so far?
Who do you think?
Okay, so that's B. So B, we're just going to use you as the example real quick so I can outline this stuff. So B is going to be starting off with a raven. Ravens, their deal is secrets and magic. The far eyes, the nimble fingers. Those who deal in magic, prophecy, visions, and possible futures. Ravens are mystics and seers. Some eschew technology in favor of older ways of interacting with the realms. Others integrate the two. No matter the path, ravens always seem to know more than they let on. And right now, in this release of Iron Edda Reforged, there's only one way per clan available, right? So in subsequent releases, there will be sort of different focuses for each of them, but right now the ravens have the Way of the Runes. And the genders that a raven can choose from pre-written, and you can obviously write your own, your gender can be a bolt of lightning, a whispered promise, the clatter of a manual keyboard, a high-speed turn, or a fervent prayer.
So good.
Yeah. So that's just a quick rundown of like clan stuff in general, and B has already got stuff written down for their first character. So I will just ask. Actually, I'm gonna give y'all a couple minutes to just do some pondering, right, about what's calling to you of the different clans. I'm gonna do some quick visual rearrangement of these windows here, so the clans will appear clearly in the window for the viewing audience, and then we will discuss what y'all are thinking.
So I'm just gonna talk out a little bit of like what I'm trying to imagine for this individual.
Please.
So Fixer is able to like shear off some old bone and replace it on a broken part of the skull. So like how I want the excellent detail of Fixer has to do with their ability to fix things with magic.
Okay.
So like a tool belt?
So a tool belt would be like the gear, right?
Yeah.
The detail would be something more along the lines of how Fixer like interacts with the magic. So when Fixer is looking at a broken piece of, we'll just say giant bone, right? Because that's more linked to the technology of the setting. What do they actually see? Are they seeing like the bone? Do they see like ley lines of power across it? Is it like some Matrix ass shit where they're seeing the code? Like
done. Oh my god. Can my excellent detail be like, I see code in everything? I just gotta think of like, can that be utilized? How well?
100%.
Okay.
I have zero doubts that we will find exactly a great way to make that shine.
Especially in this setting, that's oh yeah. I don't know. I'm kind of looking at either between sparrows or dragon.
Ooh. What speaks to you more? Like, what kind of a character vibe?
I don't know.
For those who, again, for those who are watching along here, I'll do a little bit of reading, just so you can, because I don't know if you want the chat to weigh in, but hey, they may have opinions.
That works.
So the dragon. Dragons are all about channeling emotions. Humanity's range of emotions has been compressed. The gods want vapid delight, fear, and anxiety to rule their people. Dragons know differently. Dragons know that emotions need to be felt, to be explored, and to be nuanced. In days of old, the dragon motto was, "Rage is all the warmth we need." These days, rage does its part, but alongside the vast tapestry that makes human existence the joy that it can be. And the dragon way available in Season 1 is the Way of Elation. So they're all about bringing joy with this sort of expression of the dragon. And the sparrow, sparrows are all about stories and words. Stories, songs, and information are part and parcel with the sparrow's way. Whether performing for a crowd, captivating a single person with a story, or negotiating passage through a rough neighborhood, sparrows are always collecting more information than they give out. Some former sparrows have turned to the cause of Mimir, valuing information above their companions. These fallen sparrows are ostracized by the rest of the clan. And this way for Season 1 is the way of song.
Because I like them both because they both are they just all about like bringing joy and good feelings, which is a nice turn of a change of pace from my other characters that I'm playing right now.
For what it's worth, I think I'm leaning more towards dragon.
Okay. Perfect.
If that
Perfect,
helps.
because I was reading sparrows and I was like, I would like to be a bard in this world, kind of.
Well, and also dragon does seem to be like right in your wheelhouse, Danny. Like, I think if we were to give Danny a clan in real life, then a dragon with the Way of Elation would probably be like the thing.
I agree.
Oh, that's so great.
All right, so then there we go. That's I'm choosing the sparrow.
All right, so cool. So that is that puts. I'm just gonna label these columns here real quick, so people can see who is playing what.
Where do I see those columns?
That is slide 3.
Oh, slide 3. Okay.
Yeah,
Right,
so you were going to be in the middle section there, DJ. Actually, I'll put those at the bottom. I don't know. I'll figure it out somehow.
So for the details, those are these are going to be things specific. They're kind of like our moves. So whenever something comes up, we can refer back to these.
Yeah, so basically it is something that is true about your character. It is how they interact with the world, how they view the world. It can be a personal outlook. So for example, on B's, where the excellent detail is I see code in everything. The good detail is if it ain't broke, don't fix it. A handshake can tell you everything you need to know. Yes, that's great. And what that will do when it comes time to roll the dice is in an interaction, you'll look to your details and find one that means you can sort of take the risk that you're trying to take. And because these people are who they are to their core, you're limited to your details. So even though you might want to bring in your excellent detail, you might find that the context of the situation means, okay, I've got to try with only 5 dice. And that's where the actual dice mechanics come into play and how things all shake out. And for those, again, who are watching along while everyone is sort of filling out their details and getting things rolling, all of the clans have abilities that affect the dice, right? There is an at-need ability that can be used at any point in time. Anytime you're rolling the dice, you can bring it into play. There's a scene ability, which you can only use once per sort of narrative scene. And then there's a session ability that you can only use once per session. Yes, for anyone watching along, I lifted the idea directly from D&D 4th edition. This game is a lovely conglomeration of a lot of my favorite things from a bunch of different stuff that has B and Alex and Jeff's and my fingerprints just sort of, not even all, it's just sort of worked into it. Like the fingerprints are inside.
Like a well-formed dough.
Exactly, yes. The gluten strands have been lovingly formed. It has rested, it has risen, and boy, it is ready for the oven. So, for example, the things that a dragon can do. Their at-need ability is called Small Graces. Anytime you take an action to brighten someone's day or uplift their mood, you retain any control points that you would choose to spend on the roll. Control points are kind of like fate points. They're what you can use to re-roll your misses and try and get the success you're looking for. So anytime a dragon is like operating in that sort of be happy or wheelhouse, they get to re-roll for free. Their scene ability is Bright Highlights. Once per scene, you can declare a detail that will bring joy to someone in that scene without having to spend a control point. Declaring details is like going, oh yeah, there's this super convenient thing that's happening right here. Generally speaking, we have a lot of narrative control over what's in the scene. If there's something that would be too convenient, which we all sort of decide by group consensus, then you spend a control point to bring that thing into being. And then their session ability is the Best Medicine. Once per session, you can take an action to distract, to get the focus of, or to engage another character with laughter. If you succeed on your action, you remove all of their glitch dice or heal a narrative injury they have sustained. That's kind of like huge. It's literally laughter is the best medicine. And B can tell you, having been through the fight to take down a god, that you can get a lot of glitch dice and have a lot of bad things happen to you, and the dragon can wipe that away as long as they can make you laugh.
This is really, really nice because holy heck, that's going to be useful.
It's a very Roger Rabbit kind of situation.
If I can suggest anything, Danny, maybe your good detail you want to be a fair detail. Only because I don't know how often are you going to be shaking hands.
I mean, if we're dealing with these splinters, I don't know. I might be shaking
his hand. Okay, I would just put that under consideration. Maybe something a little bit more general.
For the excellent issue, you're saying?
Yeah.
Everything I touch, I see in code. I'm just kidding.
Dang it!
I was wondering, like, man, what kind of character am I gonna make with this? And then I scrolled down to genders, and I was like, what genders could I possibly? A reality TV host.
Oh no, you're going to be interesting. Ooh, I love listening to someone who has never heard, though. That's a really good one.
Yeah, that's a really good detail.
I mean, if you want that to be your excellent, I think that's fantastic.
Wait, what was it again?
Oh,
no,
sorry
that,
for
it's
Danny.
it's one of Danny's.
Oh, I was like, I can make that work.
I'm ready to write it down. A reality TV host.
Yeah, as a gender.
So you're probably charismatic.
Mm-hmm.
Sparrow. Let me read a bit more about the sparrows. I've never played with anybody who's been them yet. Scroll.
Let's see. I'm gonna respond to Jeff's question in the chat here.
Maybe anything to do with like oration? Are you a good speech giver? Something about the power of your words? Like how like your voice can soothe a snake?
And also, if you cannot come up with something like right off at the top here, that's okay, because these are blanks that can be filled in later. The same goes with gear, especially. You may not think of necessarily what you want to have gear-wise until we're in a moment. And so then you can go, oh yeah, it would totally make sense that I have this. Oh, sorry, Danny, I moved that window over so it's visible in the play space on the video. Yeah, it'll be here we go. We can drag it down.
I was gonna say I want people to know that my gender is neon on a dark night.
I want people to know that too.
Yes.
So I'm thinking my excellent detail is a silver tongue is worth more than gold.
Nice.
Yeah, I dig it. Oh, Danny, you massaged that excellent detail into something beautiful. That's fantastic.
Ooh, yeah. Listening to someone.
We'll
who's
go
never
over all
heard
these
from
once they're all wrapped up, because what we're going to do is when these characters get finished, we're going to take a short break for a stretch and hydration and bio and whatnot, and then we'll come back and we will start our sort of establishing scenes with what's going on here in the bubble.
And then you said for gear, just in general, it's just like key items that we would have on us.
Yeah, the things you would have in general, and if it is something that is sort of like a little bit too convenient or a little bit too powerful, we'll talk about it and go from there. Because another thing to note is that this game is just, when you do the first session, it kind of has a GM facilitator role attached to it that I'm kind of doing. But as we play and all get comfortable with the mechanics, I start retreating from that role and I just become a player alongside y'all. In fact, I'll probably make characters and just play them, and we'll all decide on things like dice difficulties together. We all contribute a lot to what is going to be happening, as you will see.
Okay, so tell me what you guys think about my details. So the first one is a silver tongue is worth more than gold. The second one is girl, which, deals with all sorts of gossip. And then the last one, the truth is boring. Hold on, let me spice it up.
Ooh.
Yeah. I think that's pretty good. Okay, cool. It makes sense to me to come back from break with the character introductions, right? So
Okay.
we'll start fresh with the narrative there. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna put on our be right back loop. We will take let's call it a 5, and we'll be back in about 5 minutes to actually begin playing here. So everyone in the chat, thank you so far for watching. Really appreciate it, and we will be back in about 5 minutes. All right, and we are off air.
Jotunheim, the heart of the network of the gods. Miles of bone, sinew, and synapse, torn from the bodies of dead giants used to feed the machine. It's time to tear it all down. The gods, their words, their works. Ragnarok is coming, and it's you. It's us. A neon Fimbulwinter where we rise up and take the gods down. And it starts here, in Jotunheim. So, you in?
Bring us back. Hello. We're back after that
The answer
amazing
is yes.
intro
Yes,
video.
we're in. We're in for this.
If anyone is not familiar, that video was voiced by the amazing Aaron Katana Saez. I hire Aaron for all the voice work that I possibly can because he is fantastic. The art is by Juan Ochoa, who did all the internal art for the book. The script was written by me. The music was by Scott Buckley. That is who is doing all of the music in the videos. And then the background music that the viewers are hearing while we are playing is a stream safe cyberpunk playlist that I found on Apple Music, just to give us some ambiance. So we have returned. We're back from break. We have made some characters. You can see them up there in the middle of the screen. I'm going to recap the neighborhood real quick for people who are coming into the stream late, and then we will go around and have each of you introduce your characters and their details, genders, all that good stuff. There's not that much per character, so we'll just do the whole shebang. To start off with, let me get to the right thing. So we are in the neighborhood of the Bubble. The Bubble is a submerged giant's skull that has the face is like down in the muck, and the actual cranium is the space where this community has risen up. There are some questions the players answered, and here are the notes for the neighborhood creation. So there's a break in the wall, meaning the actual skull wall. How are you helping repair the efforts, and how do you know it happened because of a sabotage? This was B's question. It was broken from the inside out, so we know that the break happened on the inside. And it is being repaired with a rune-bound bone graft. A new gang has set up shop in the Bubble last month. Who are they, and why do they threaten the Bubble's safety? The gang is the Bone Splinters. They threaten the Bubble's safety by bringing in new powerful weapons. It threatens the community and the Skull Wall as well. And lastly, there are rumors that an RPB raid team has the Bubble in its sights. When is that raid scheduled to happen, and how can it be prevented? They're coming for the Bone Splinters, and we don't want that. We have 7 days. We have 1 week to get this resolved, and the raid can be prevented by taking away the target, which is the Bone Splinters. And now our starting characters. These are our starting focus characters. Iron Edda Reforged lets you literally tell the story from any character's perspective that you want to, but we start off with 3 people who are going to sort of be the protagonists that we keep sort of swinging back to focus on, as long as that's how the story goes. We may find that we have other characters we want to tell the story from their perspective, but this is who we're starting off with. Danny, why don't you go ahead and introduce your character first?
Yeah, I'm playing Ash, and they're part of the clan Dragon. And my excellent detail is listening to someone who has never heard can turn the tide. My good detail is a handshake can tell you everything you need to know. And my fair detail is a fake laugh makes me sick to my stomach. So I'm picturing Ash as they're probably I picture them as like they don't really have a family. They're one of those people that is charismatic to a sense, and like they can get along in any situation, but they're quiet, they're observant, and they can see what's happening, and then they can connect with people on a deeper level. So even though they're quiet and not as robust, they understand people, and their biggest thing is that people need to be heard regardless of where they're from. And my gender is neon on a dark night. Pronouns, any pronouns, really.
Fantastic. B, why don't you go and introduce your character?
Yes. So I'm going to be playing Fixer, of the clan Raven. Any pronouns? His gender is a bolt of lightning. Her excellent detail is I see code in everything. Their good detail is if it ain't broken, fix it. And that is very intentional. They really, really enjoy fixing things that are not broken. Fair detail is runes are more reliable than people, which leads into the gear that they have. So this is like you know that you're looking at Fixer when you see somebody in the distance wearing like a child's tool belt, a mini hammer, little tiny screwdriver, tiny scissors. I don't know what actually comes in real tool belts. Small versions of anything you would imagine, a tiny saw, but all of these are imbued with different runes. So while they themselves appear to be for the purpose of repair, for fixing, they're really just vessels to be able to utilize the runes that they do. I imagine Fixer to be like gangly. My brain inspiration for him was the purple-haired character from She-Ra with the glasses and that walks on her hair, Entrapta. That was kind of my inspiration, so I'm picturing like oversized quadrifocals. The glasses, like, we have the technology that, like, Fixer doesn't need to wear glasses, but, like, she makes a very specific choice to wear these glasses. It really sells the aesthetic that they get taken a little less seriously, despite being, like, one of the most competent repair people in the entirety of the bubble. Like, everybody knows Fixer, but nobody really wants to work with Fixer, and, oh, they can't really figure out why.
And for anyone who's watching along, these are the runes now up on the screen that B has to choose from for those tools. I just got an image of them there. So whenever we reference those, we can pop those up and you can see sort of what the new runic alphabet looks like and how B is going to use those runes to do their literal magic.
Also, really quickly, y'all in chat, Tommy Pickles, that was not who I was thinking of with the little tiny tools. Freaking perfect, though. Oh my gosh.
Fantastic. And DJ, let's get your character.
All right. We will be playing. I am playing Abeo. Excellent detail. He's going to be the Clan Sparrow. And excellent detail is silence is golden, but my tongue is silver. Good detail is girl. And fair detail is the truth is born. Here, let me spice it up. Pronouns any. And gender a reality TV host. So my thought process for making this character, I was trying to think, like, after I put all that in there, I was like, man, who can I base this off of? And the first idea that just like exploded into my mind is Chris Tucker's character from The Fifth Element.
Yes!
Kobe!
Right down to the girl!
Yeah.
Oh my god! Oh, beautiful.
I love it.
I expect a cosplay like coif next time.
I will definitely do my best to get on that.
I will frame your head so good in this overlay, my friend. All right, so on this day in the bubble, we have a couple of problems. One is sort of a long-term issue, right? This gang, the Bone Splinters, has moved into the bubble, which we're going to take a second in a little bit and talk about what it takes to get into this community, because it's like underwater and kind of hidden away from most of the corporate interests. So we need to figure out exactly what it means to have a gang like set up shop here. The real pressing concern is that there has been a break in the skull wall. Like, that is happening immediately. As we are like picking up this story, that break has happened. It's in the process of being repaired. And what I would like to know is where all of you are sort of in relation to that. I think if we're doing this, framing it like a TV show, right, then the camera is like panning over Jotunheim, the big, like, broad neon streets, all the big billboards. There's all kinds of just every indication that this is that cyberpunk dystopia, right? We do get a couple of flashes of what look like hope, because there are actual billboards featuring a really big person with like piercings, wearing all leather, just looking supremely badass, holding a crushed symbol of Tyr in their hand, and it's like it when those come up, it's like the billboard has been hacked. Like, it flickers, and this unapproved advertisement comes up and talks about joining the resistance. For all y'all, that's Aki from the previous series up on that billboard. But then the camera like plunges down toward the brain pan, this massive interior sort of lake in the middle of Jotunheim. And like it goes underwater and gets pulled into the break that's in the skull wall, because the water pressure is like streaming in, and it like gets jostled and whipped around and gets flipped back into this sort of dome habitation with all kinds of ramshackle buildings being sort of set up and everything. And we get a brief glimpse of Fixer as the camera like whips past that point. But I want to know, who does it settle on first, Abeo or Ash?
I guess it could be me.
Okay.
I'll take the lead on this one.
All right. So our invisible camera drone pins onto Abeo's location, and with this break in the skull wall being repaired, where's Abeo? What do we find them doing?
I think, okay, well, with this whole thing happening and everybody kind of, coming together to make sure it's repaired, and obviously any kind of incident like this, there's got to be a massive crowd of people gossiping about what happened.
Mm-hmm.
So Abeo's just like, it kind of like in a masterful manner of like, you would see a martial artist weaving through like those I forgot the name of them, but it's like it has like 3 parts that spin with different like little poles out that they just kind of block and whatnot, and they're just like weaving their way through. He's doing that, but with the crowd, talking to people left and right. And everybody's like, oh my God, did you hear that? And he's like, oh yes, I did. It's amazing. I couldn't believe it. That is ridiculous. Love your hair. And then just moves on to the next person and just keeps just weaving in and out of conversations.
Nice. If you all flip over to slide 5 real quick, you will find our story tracker. The way that this works is there are set goals that we know need to be taken care of, right? There's the break in the wall, there's the bone splinters, and there is the path to Mimir. So when a successful action is taken along one of these tracks, we mark one of the boxes, and that thing is sort of handled, right? We don't need to worry about it anymore. And each one of these, and we haven't defined the ones for the bone splinters or Mimir yet, but I put down crowd control for this break in the wall, right? Because you established that very neatly there, DJ. This is the first time we need to see a roll, because we need to see exactly how effective you are being as you are trying to keep people distracted from not panicking, right? Just sort of keeping the peace, making sure they don't surge forward and make things worse with the repair efforts. So my question is,
and trying to get some juicy gossip. So.
Yeah. So what detail do you plan on using for that?
I think, I think this is definitely this might be a girl.
All right. And for you and everyone else here, what difficulty do we think makes sense for this? Now, difficulties range from 1 to 10, right? That's the number of successes you need on the dice to make it. 5s and 6s on your rolls are successes. 1 is something that you should be able to accomplish, but there may be a little bit of drama associated with it. 10 is a god would have difficulty taking this thing on, right? So that's the rough range. And every table of this game will kind of settle on their own idea of where those difficulties sort of land. I've got guidance in the book, obviously, but this is all sort of up to us. So my initial thought is this is somewhere between a 3 and a 4, right? Because the skull wall is kind of an important deal. It's kind of how the whole thing exists. So
it's probably the first time this has happened too. So like it's momentous.
Okay, so what does that feel to you, B? 3 or 4? 4?
4.
Danny, how's that feeling for you?
I personally think it's like a little bit lower, maybe like a 2 or 3. Because I think Abeo would be kind of like just having a good time with it rather than like seriously trying to be like, everyone calm down. They're almost like hyping it up a little bit.
And context matters, right? That's why we're doing this. So I think that puts us at a 3. You know, that's sort of a compromise between what B and Danny thought there. So you've got 7 dice. You need 3 successes.
All right, and that's all D6s, right?
All D6s. You want 5s or 6s for those successes?
5, 6, 7. 2 5s.
Okay, so 2 5s. You have a few options here. So, actually, you had an option before you rolled the dice. You could take a failure and get a control point in exchange for that. That's how you get your control points back, is just by choosing to fail the roll before the dice hit the table. But I wanted to roll anyway.
Yeah.
So you needed 3, you got 2. You can either spend a control point and highlight a detail, either of your character or something just around. Like the details are all around us in these scenes. When you highlight one, you're just sort of calling out something that is now more pertinent than it was before. And then you re-roll your misses, and on that re-roll, any 6s explode, so you get to roll them again.
Okay.
Or you can take success at a cost. Success at a cost means you get glitch dice. Glitch dice are how bad things happen to the characters narratively. So when you take success at a cost, you get glitch dice equal to the difference between your roll and what you needed. So you'd take a single glitch die.
I'll take 1, yeah.
Yep. And then on the next time you would take an action, even if it's not an action that's worth a die roll, it becomes worth a die roll because you have to roll that glitch die. And if a glitch die hits a 5 or a 6, if it gets a success, then suddenly there are ramifications to what's happening. So like glitch dice put stakes on your next action. And if a glitch die hits successes, then it can affect you negatively or it can affect your allies negatively. It's story stuff for us to work with. So what you want to do?
Well, as long as I'm not put in a position where I blow off somebody's hand, I don't know where that came from, but those of you who watch who listen to the podcast, you'll get that joke.
If you know,
I think I'll take success at a cost.
Okay, so you get a single glitch die. Just note that down somewhere that you can remember it, because the next time you do anything, you're going to need to roll again, and you're going to need to have that glitch die in the sauce there. So you're taking success at a cost. You do succeed, so you do get people. You keep people like, under control. Tell me what it looks like. What's the scene as you're sort of doing this, and then what happens that like phases you that represents the glitch die you're carrying around.
Okay, I think for the most part, it's again, I'm weaving through this crowd, and I'm changing, not really personalities, but like my approach to people, depending on what what emotion they're expressing. So some people are just like, oh my God, what happened? So I'll drop a little bit of gossip here and there, share some tea with them. And then somebody else I'll jump to, and they're getting kind of freaked out, and I'll either cheer them up, throw out a little something, some jokes, maybe try and distract them with gossip about someone else, or possibly just lie about it. Maybe change the, like, say something else happened instead of somebody ran around shooting or something like that. I'd be like, no, somebody, I don't want to say this, but who's been drinking again. I'm not saying names. I don't know. If you know. But they were drinking again, hit the wall. They got the car out because, somebody's daddy doesn't want them to get in trouble. So, but you didn't hear that from me.
Okay. So,
and, things like that, they try and, like, get people's minds off of to get everyone's mind off of what's going on and try and get them focused on something a little more lighthearted or distracting.
Okay, cool. If it fits with you, I think it's that specific lie that you told that's like representing the glitch die. Like, I think you caught up in the moment, right? And you're just letting this come out of your mouth, and you know that that's not really a great idea. And how we're going to illustrate that it's not a great idea, everyone flip over to slide 6 real quick to our character pool. Now, you said, if you know, you know. But we're going to make the person that you're implicating.
Yeah.
So that person's name is, we're just going to go Jadzia Fell. Quick question. Is Jadzia a member of the Resistance or no?
I'm going to say no.
Okay, so then we need a blurb about Jadzia, meaning they are more defined by, like, their corporate interests than anything else. And I think what you, if I may, what you suggested there is that Jadzia is Daddy's special someone. Right? Now with that, DJ, since you started us off, give us one detail for Jadzia. Top level detail.
The reason I told the lie is because it is not very difficult for someone to believe that, because they are a heavy drinker, and this is not the first time they've done something in public to that has been due to intoxication.
All right, Danny, detail 2.
I think Jadzia is a they're a socialite in the fact, like, you can find them in bars, you can find them performing, but it's those situations where it gets to their head and they drink too much, and then that's what leads to, so they're part of the nightlife scene.
Part of the nightlife. And what is the third detail, B?
Loose lips sink stocks.
I love it.
Okay. Now, I don't know if y'all noticed this, the three of you here with me. We just made a character. This character can be embodied by anyone in a scene later on if we want to. And you know who they are. You know how they're going to act. You know what their details are. Detail 1 is their 10 die. Detail 2 is their 7 die. Detail 3 is their 5 die. That's it. So if it ever comes up, that's why we pause and do this, is these characters can come back in. If we want them to be in a scene, we know who they are, how they're going to act. If we want to be them, then we know how to act as them. So now that person is walking away from that interaction with the Bayo and just... if I know, I know, right? They tap their nose, and they're now spreading the rumor that Jadzia is the one who caused the bust in the wall.
Whoopsie.
We follow that person sort of meandering through the crowd, like spreading that gossip throughout the entire thing. And Ash, where do we find you?
Yeah, so I'm picturing it like you just see all of this calamity of people talking, and then the person gossiping about Jadzia. And as they walk by, I'm picturing like the big leak across, like it's the water pressure is coming across, and you can just see some of it behind this large cafe. And you see Ash there just drinking, like casually, just kind of observing everybody, that what's going on. And they're finishing up their tea. And I think they look up and they see this water just kind of dripping off like the roof, and they're looking at it and they know it's weird, but they have an urge to try the water. So they finish their tea and they just stand up and they grab a little bit of tea from the drips, takes a sip, and it's like, that's not regular water. And they step back and they're like, oh, that's why there's calamity. What's going on? And they start seeing like the huge burst of water.
Yeah. So how do you react to that in any way? Does it cause you to like go and investigate what's going on?
No, I think it's happened before, and it's one of those things where it's like, we'll get it fixed. Like a very optimistic view. Like it's just, it happens once every 2 or 3 months. No biggie. Fixer will graft some bones.
And speaking of, like, you settle back in your chair, you're sipping your tea, and you're thinking of Fixer, and the camera like ping pongs off of people in the crowd and settles at like a distance, and we see Fixer. What's Fixer up to?
Okay, so the wall's been repaired, but what the issue is, Fixer doesn't always know when to stop. So dressed in a jumpsuit, like kind of like what the guys from Ghostbusters would wear, like one of those jumpers, ill-fitting, oversized boots, very, very like fire department kind of outfit. And I think that he is like starting to like tap the little chisel and hammer on various places of the wall, collecting like some of the bone dust, making a paste out of it, and then putting it on other parts of the wall, not really fixing anything, but to her mind, you can hear her whispering like, okay, and this is going to repair a crack that is going to happen in approximately 52 days. So if I can reinforce this part of the wall now, okay, but I have to crack. We must take some of this, and it's chaotic.
All right. That does seem chaotic. Let's see.
I love that Ash is like, Fixer's got this, and then Fixer does not have this.
Chiseling away at the wall that was already broken.
Let's see. Also, I need to change your imbuement power just a little bit. I remember I noted that last time. I'm just gonna. You get 2 bonus dice. Okay, I'm gonna need to revise that to have it be a little bit more elegant. But this seems like this could be a risky kind of thing, right? Like if you're actually messing with the area that has just recently been repaired.
Yeah, it's still very like tender.
Yeah. So what detail? I mean, it looks like if it ain't broke, fix it.
Yes.
To me. And then, are you imbuing this with a rune?
I think I want to. Let me double check what runes I can use.
Ta-da! There are the runes up on the screen for those who are watching at home.
And for me, I find them here. All right. Ooh, big fan of Home, Hearth, and Rest. Yeah, I think that's gonna be the one. This is our home. This is our hearth.
Okay. So hold as.
Hold as.
All right. So you etch the rune of hold as. You do get 2 bonus dice on this roll because of imbuement. As your Raven ability, it's your at-need ability. And so let's see. Those of us who are playing along here, wanting to prevent a crack that is going to form in the future while the original repair is still curing, and the risk is that all of the repairs are going to come crumbling down. This is feeling 5, 6 to me. Is that?
I'd say 5 is good. Yeah.
5 is good. Danny, how do you feel?
That's where I was at.
All right,
5.
B, that feel good to you?
Yeah.
Like if it wasn't just finished and then moving on, I would say maybe a 4, because I'm sure you know, Fixer has a little more experience doing all this, but with it just being set, yeah, I think 5 is good.
All right, so
that fresh bone.
You're rolling you're rolling 9 dice because you got the 2 bonus, and you need.
Plus, I'm going to add my
Oh.
gear because I'm using my chisel and the
Yeah.
hammer to kind of tap at it.
Like it. So you are rolling 10 dice for 5 successes.
Fabulous. All right, here goes everything. 1, 2, 3, 4 successes.
Not bad. Do you want to take the success at a cost and get that glitch die, or do you want to spend a control point?
I'm gonna take success at a cost.
Okay. So note down that you have a glitch die and narrate what happened with that.
Ooh. So the procedure of like chiseling away at some of like the fresh bone to gather some of its dust and start to build almost like a spine in part of the interior of this area of the skull to prevent further cracks. It looks like it's going really, really well, but what Fixer didn't account for was when she like shorn, I don't know the past tense of that word. Shored. Oh.
Shored it up.
Okay. Yeah, no, that does make sense. I'm not my favorite word anymore. When that was like peeled off and ruined back on, because it's so fresh, the integrity of it wasn't perfect. So it looks good, but it holds up good, but it looks kind of wonky.
Mm-hmm.
The inside of our beautiful home isn't as pristine as it used to be.
Yeah, and the whole of the interior of the bubble is cobbled together, and eventually this is just going to be one more like wrinkle in the fabric of this place, but it's like kind of hanging with you. And as we are coming to the end of our time here, we're going to leave a nice little story button for us to pick up on next time, because all of you in your various positions around this, I think that Abeo, you hear it most clearly because you are like right in the crowd, but Ash, you hear it echoing like around into the little cafe you're sitting in, and Fixer, you're packing up your gear, and you all hear someone shout out and like yell to get the crowd's attention, and everyone sort of turns and looks, and there's a person standing there who we're going to detail here in a second. But they are a tall, kind of ratty looking individual, and they're wearing the emblem of the Broken Splinters.
Ugh.
And they shout out, if a job's gonna get done, it's gotta get done right. And they level what looks like a rocket launcher on their
Oh my God.
shoulder, because they've got the big ordnance, right? And it's aimed directly at the patch spot on the wall. So let's detail that person real quick, and that is where we will stop the story for today, and we'll do a brief Roses and Thorns and then call this session good.
Oh, Lord.
So I will say that the blurb of this person is a bone splinter demo expert, right? Because they've got the big old rocket launcher. B, what's a detail for this person?
Guns.
Guns is a fantastic detail for this person. DJ, what's another detail?
Bring it all down.
Bring it all down. And Danny, what's a third detail for this person?
I think they're naive and they're new to the bone splinters. Like they just recently got recruited to be the demo expert.
Yeah, prove themselves.
Great.
Yeah, they gotta
Poor
prove themselves.
fool.
All right.
Yeah.
And Danny, what's this person's name?
Around town, he's just known as Boom Boom.
Boom Boom. All right. Fantastic. So we have Boom Boom leveling a rocket launcher, this naive member of the Bone Splinters trying to prove themselves, and currently threatening to bring down the entirety of the community, because if that goes off, buddy, this is not going to be great. And we will go around in the last 5 minutes we have here, and we will do a quick Roses and Thorns session. If you're not familiar, a rose is something where you say, here's something that worked for me, and a thorn is something that was kind of a sticking point that you'd like to see smoothed out for next time. So B, if you'd care to start us off.
Okay, so a rose to DJ for Abiel, you were supposed to do crowd control, and what do but start lies?
One lie.
It's gonna cascade into something. I know that. So I just really, really enjoyed that approach because it could have been like everything is fine, everything is gonna be okay. Go back to your homes, like a regular assistant. Emergency assistance person would kind of do, and you just took a completely different route. So I really, really enjoyed that angle. I'm gonna think on my thorn.
Okay. DJ, what about a rose for you?
Yes. All of it. I love the system. I love how it takes 20 seconds to pop out an NPC. I just love the freedom and just when it comes to, like, I had no clue coming in today what my character was going to be. I didn't even know what what's the proper term? I want to keep saying class, but clan. Thank you. What clan they were going to be. I didn't know any of that, and I was just like, all right, let's see what's going to happen. And I have a fully fleshed out character who's, I'm excited to play. Everybody else has fantastic characters, and it's just, I love it. Everything's great so far. I love okay, one specific thing about everybody's characters, I love how Fixer is like, all right, we're done. Time to get started so I don't have to come back for a while. Let's make sure everything else is good and up to code. Everybody else is like, whoa, we're done. Why are you still, what are you, no, come on. And just the whole time in my head I was screaming at Ash. I'm like, don't drink it. Don't drink it.
Ew.
No. You're just like,
and just hold up your cup like,
yeah.
Extra
I was like,
seasoning.
no. So it was great. Thorn, I don't know. Everything went smooth. Everybody was great. I can't really think of anything that I was like, man, other than my dice. I wish those would have rolled better, but no, other than that, everything was good.
Cool. Danny, what you got?
Yeah, I think my rose goes to seeing the runes being used. So I love that came out so fast. I think it's a cool system that you've made where anybody can use magic. There's a list of runes that you can choose from, and I want to see more of that for sure.
Nice.
And yeah, no thorns for me.
Okay.
It's early yet, but I think it was just a really good experience creating the character and creating the story. So
awesome. My rose is playing with all y'all because it's always when you have, like, I've played with B before and I've played with DJ before. I haven't played with Danny yet, and getting a new group together, especially when schedules mean that this was the first time we've gotten together, like I figured that there would be good group cohesion and chemistry, and it's just lovely to see it play out in that way. My thorn is for myself. I need to mute my own mic when we go to break. But other than that, everything went spectacularly. I was very pleased with all of this. So if you are watching along, this is episode 1 of season 1 of In the Bubble. We have 6 more episodes to go. They should air weekly on Tuesdays. I think near the end of the schedule, we have a bit of a scheduling flip that we'll figure out once we get closer, because Danny's got a commitment that he has to do. But Tuesdays here on One Shot's Twitch channel. So if you have not already followed this Twitch channel, follow this Twitch channel. If you want to subscribe to this Twitch channel, please go and do so. We're going to give everyone a chance to give one last rundown of where you can find them and how you can support them. But if you want to buy the game that we are playing, the link will be here in the chat again very, very shortly. And you can also support all the work that I do at patreon.com/theothertracy. It is a pay what you can model. So whatever you give a month, be it $1, $10, $20, $50, hey, 50, then you get everything that I do. Every game that I make, every production that I put out, all of it, you just get it. And there is a goal when I get to 75 patrons, I'm at 68 now, that I will take the original incarnation of Iron Edda War of Metal and Bone, and change it from a Fate game to use this system that we're playing today, which is the Eddic engine. and make it pay what you can. So I would really love to get to that goal. Let us run everything down. Again, DJ, where can people find you and support you?
Oh, I had to make sure I was unmuted. What is up, everyone? Big B's again. This was fantastic. I love this to death. Can't wait to play more. You can find me on my Twitch channel at big_B's. You can find me on Twitter at bigb's_. And you can also find me Saturday nights on RF Chaos. And starting March 15th, exactly a month away, March 15th, I will be starting running a series of Pokemon one-shots on that channel, and I cannot wait.
Nice.
Have you started casting for those?
Yeah, I think me and B have very good chemistry.
I have a game that is fully casted, but seeing as I'm going to roll multiple, I think I might be able to fit any aspiring Pokemon trainers that are phenomenal that would like to be a part of it. You know, I'm just saying. You know.
Oh.
Oh my gosh, what do I have near me? Oh, nothing within reach.
I was gonna get a little Charmander pop, like Funko Pop, but it was a silver one, and I was like, no, I want a red Charmander, damn it. So,
all right, Danny, tell
yeah,
the people who you are and how they can support you.
Hey y'all, my name is Danny. I am your emotional support himbo and friendly local meatball. You can find me all over the internet at Brutal Dan. Of course, I'm here every Tuesday with this lovely group. And then Tuesday night, like tonight, I'm going to be starting a 5-part series of a Haunted West actual play. Haunted West is a weird and wacky rethinking of the Wild West from Chris Spivey of the Harlem Unbound fame. So feel free to check that out.
Yeah, that's
I'm
cool.
also, every other Wednesday, I will be on Friends Who Roll Dice playing an Urban Shadows 2nd edition actual play as well. And I'm also the community manager of Roll20. So yeah, let's hang out, let's tell stories, and let's have fun.
Great. And B, tell the people who they are. Tell the people who they are. tell the people who you are and how they can support you.
You are people, and I am B. You can follow me on Twitter as @B_Zelda. I'm a podcaster and streamer. Next Monday, we are doing the finale of the Avatar Legends games on Saving Throw Show, where we finally get to find out who is the slutty dad and why does he have so many children. On Tuesdays, you can find me here playing some Iron Edda. Afterwards, I'm streaming for Origins Game Fair, where we are talking about some of the convention vendors that are going to be there at the show. On Thursday mornings, I'm streaming on Reforged Academy, where I play a fairy rogue who was modeled after Jinx from League of Legends, so you know they just want to make things explode. On Fridays, I'm playing some Shadowrun, which is the system I vehemently refuse to learn, but the game itself is nonetheless a lot of fun over on Weave the Tale. And then on Sundays, you can catch me on Q Times, where I play my little robot, Ulez Gali, playing Power Play, a superhero genre game where we don't really save the world. We just, we kind of save our hearts.
That's amazing. You all do amazing things. I am blessed to have this time to play with you. And we will come back 9:30 a.m. EST next week right here on One Shot's Twitch channel. We will see you then, and let's roll credits. Yeah, I've got credits.